Hello and welcome to another episode of
Startup Chat.
I'm Afshin.
I'm Mo.
Hi Mo,
Hi.
how you doing?
Great. How are you?
So I'm doing great, thank you. So Mo, usually we pick subjects
Yes,
that have to do with startups.
exactly.
And in the past episodes, we've talked about a few things like funding, like how to pick a good team, how to lead, some stuff like that, tangentially, and short videos, right?
Exactly.
And this is
Yes.
just a casual chit chat, of course. So, what should we talk about now? Maybe from a different angle. Like last time, we talked about people's personal traits and characters and how they can play into having a successful startup or not.
Yes.
Is there an angle from that side that you can propose where we can have a conversation?
Exactly. One of the things that I have heard a lot about
Yeah.
those founders who, let's be straight. I want to talk about ego.
That's a good one.
What is
Okay.
your definition of ego?
Okay.
And first, this is a question,
Okay.
and how it will impact a startup.
You know what? This is interesting you say this because ego is everywhere.
Exactly.
Now, what is it? I'll tell you what I think it is.
Mhm.
How you perceive yourself and how much value you give yourself, which could be real or it could be excessive. And how do you react towards others based on how you value yourself, your capabilities, your time, and altogether just your character, your own character. So I would probably say it is a self-assessment of how one sees themselves in life. Now, it's a good thing to have that self-assessment. And it's a good thing because it brings self-confidence. Now, in a startup, you come across a lot of naysayers and you want to raise funds. People say, nah, your idea isn't going to work. You want to, I don't know, find a partner and say, nah, you're not ready yet for us. You're going to have to knock a lot of doors and you're going to hear a lot of no's. And so having a little bit of ego kind of is good because it gives you that self-confidence to be able to say, you know what? I don't care what you think. I know what I'm worth. I know what I'm going to do. And I've got grit. I'm going to go do it. But my question to you now is, what if you have too much of it?
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking as you were talking, what level of ego is enough, or how I can understand I have a very high ego, or it's good enough to sustain my business.
Okay. That's a question for me, I guess.
Yes.
That I asked you a question,
back.
you threw it back at me. Okay, again, I'll tell you what I think. This is not scientific by any means, right? So, I think if you know your capabilities, truly know your capabilities, and if you have an ego that's just a tad bit more than that, just to keep up your self-confidence and motivation so it can still grow.
Yeah.
It's healthy. But once you start to overestimate things, then your ego could be a prohibition for your growth rather than a door opener for your growth. And so people who are highly egoistic and they have a lot of ego, they come across as people who are not desirable to interact with. That's my experience. But people who have enough ego to show that, yes, this is who I am. I'm humble. I'm grounded. But I know exactly where I would be in regards to this matter. And maybe a little bit more. I actually value those people.
Ego on a specific subject could be beneficial.
Well, I don't think the definition of ego could be cut down to a specific subject because it's based on you as a whole, right?
Yeah.
But I see how you could have ego in certain areas where your knowledge is higher.
Yes.
And you'd have less ego. You know, for example, you could be a great swimmer and they ask you to paint And you say, oh, I don't know how to paint. All of a sudden, the ego isn't there. But I say, hey, do you want to swim? Of course I want to swim. And, it's like in the tone, you can see how much
Yes.
ego there is in it, right? So, yeah, I guess I agree with you. I never thought about it that way. Interesting.
Yeah, it happens a lot when you're reading startup failures, why they have failed.
Yeah,
It's one of the reasons.
yeah,
Ego.
exactly. So, to wrap this up, I'll
Mhm.
tell you what I think, and you tell me if you agree or not, right? Um, Ego is good, and it can help you overcome the negative uh, interactions that you have while you're managing your startup. So you need to have some of it.
Mhm.
The secret to using ego properly is to control it so it doesn't become massive.
Exactly.
Because at that point, you're losing touch with the realities of what you can actually accomplish or not.
Is there any way we can assess that we have ego or not? Have
You
you
mean a measuring tape? You say, hey, this
Yeah,
guy's ego.
yeah, ego meter.
Yeah, I think it's a dynamic thing. I think it depends who you're talking to and how well tuned they are to your behavior
Mm-hmm.
and how much is at stake. And it's just a lot of factors, but I've never heard of a test that says
Not a
you're,
scientific test.
you know,
As a person, can we sit and think if I have too much ego?
a self-assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that level of entitlement is definitely something that people would benefit from. And I'm going to do that. In fact, I'll sit down one day and think about if I'm really egoistic and how much ego do I have? Do I need to
Mm-hmm.
add to it or take away from it?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's something to ponder.
Maybe for next episode.
Yeah, maybe we can keep talking about this. Well, thank you for watching, and please do subscribe if you like. And we always like to hear from you. So please do leave your comments. And at the same time, if you have a question you want us to discuss, it's just the two of us chit chatting about it, nothing scientific, our experiences, what we think about life in the context of startups.
Exactly.
So thank you.
See you.
Have a great day.